Does setting long-term goals secretly set you up for failure? This is the subject of today's episode. Welcome to the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's show. So this is maybe a question that you have asked or have heard asked before, which is long-term goal setting and planning an accurate, and is it the best way to structure your success? So let's dive in on this concept, because it's one that I've explored many times myself over the last number of decades, and I've found my own unique groove. And in this episode, I want to help you find your goal setting groove so that you can achieve more faster than ever before. So let's go on to this. So why did I ask this question? Well, we're at the pointy end of this year, as I've said in previous episodes. And if you're watching this anytime in the future, it means that now you can really lean in on this content and this information and this perspective and reassess, reevaluate where you are regarding your goals and your goal setting process. So think about goals. Goals are typically something that is structured or set or viewed ahead of you, outside of you. So if we use the analogy of being on a playing field, and whether you're in playing NFL or ice hockey, or for those in Canada and the States, or Russia, or any of those other cold countries that love that sport, or whether, like me, it's rugby union or rugby league from down under, those sort of things. You're essentially playing on the field of life, playing on the field of business, and your goal is to kick the ball or ground the ball across the line or between two posts or three posts or four posts, whatever it's going to be. You get the picture before me, so I don't need to labor on any more about that analogy. So it's ahead of you. It's ahead of you, and it's something you're aiming for. Now, as I've said countless times in previous podcasts, that when we are observing a preferred future or preferred reality from point A, where we are right now, we're observing our preferred reality ahead of us, point B. So from where you are, point A, looking at all the things that are working, not working, could be upgraded, could be removed, and then adding your preferences as to what you would really want the outcome to be, what experiences you really desire to have fulfilled, then from point A, you're wanting to experience them sometime in the future. So goals are ahead of you. Goals are sometime in the future. When we live in the future, we can, without doing enough internal work and internal homework, we can leave ourselves short of achieving the goal. So you may have heard, I've got a 1-year goal, I've got a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal, and you might put a plan in place, whether it's your financial planner or your coach or whether it's just yourself. But there are goals, there are frames of reference that you've placed sometime in the future for you to arrive at and for you to experience, in the hope, inverted commas, air quotes, in the hope that you're going to be happy, or you're going to find happiness or joy or fulfillment or excitement or relief or awe, whatever it may be, at that point in the future. Here's the problem inherent with that you are waiting to experience the emotional quality of that result. You're waiting. You're waiting to experience the excitement, the joy, the relief, the stability, the certainty, whatever it may be. You're waiting. So a goal pushed too far out, let's say out 12 months' time, can feel like a stretch. It can feel like a stretch. So I know for me, I do have a 12-month goal. However, I break them down into micro goals, points of light. I break them down into a month, into a quarter, 3 months, and into a half year. And so that way, I can give myself permission to lean in on short-term targets and build confidence and clarity and certainty and commitment around experiencing those short-term targets. So the short-term target is one that allows you to focus precisely on an experience that feels closer. So let's say from where you are at point A right now, you're looking at a micro target, a micro goal, with an intention to experience relief. Relief in your finances, relief in your business growth, so that maybe you have been oscillating in your growth, some clients not. Some months are more, some months are less. So all of a sudden, you're saying, okay, my overall goal for the year is financial stability. So how can I chunk that down into and relate to the common theme of the year, which is financial stability? How can I break it down into 1 month? So for 1 month, I'm going to practice leaning into the thoughts, the feelings, and taking the inspired action to fulfilling and feeling financial stability. You starting to get the point? Because if I lean in more frequently to a short-term goal, then my belief around attaining that or achieving that or experiencing that grows, rather than thinking that I've got to work hard and focus so precisely for 12 months straight in order to reach my target. And I've seen this happen too many times. It is the undermining of effort. It is the undermining of success. That by placing goals too far out into the future, you in effect are undermining your own belief in what is possible. And here's why. Because from where you are at point A right now, experiencing what you're experiencing, as I've said in previous podcasts, that everything in your current reality is the sum total of every thought, or the dominant thoughts, the dominant feelings, and the dominant actions that you've engaged on a day-to-day basis up until this point. So everything in the past is coalescing, collapsing into what is known as your current reality right now. So when we are setting goals, quite often, especially early on our journey in growing business or starting a business, we often bring in our voids and our lacks into goal setting. So if I am at A right now and I have worked for someone else and I want to earn more and I want to win back time for myself and my family, and I want to earn and experience freedom on my own terms, working my own hours, working with the people that I choose, then the void or the lack that I have around not having that right now potentially is going to springboard you into that distortion or that fantasy of I'm going to go from $5,000 a month to $100,000 a month. And that's my goal. Now you can have that goal for 12 months, but it takes steps in between to get you there. You don't go from $5,000 a month to $100,000 a month overnight. Less than 0.00001%, I dare say, of people would do that. Okay? So when you're goal setting, you're actually bringing in your junk from your past in the setting of the goals. So therefore, the goals, future paced, 12 months out as the example, are laced with voids. They're laced with your lack. So you're starting to think, well, how can I experience something that I'm yet to experience and I have no proof of because I haven't experienced it in my life, my business, my cash flow, whatever it may be, up until this point? How can I lean in on that? How can I increase my chances of winning and shorten the gap between understanding what it's going to take and experiencing it for real? Well, we chunk it down. We chunk it down to 1 month goals, 1 week goals, 1 day goals, whatever it may be, so that you essentially are living inside a nano. You are committing and leaning into a nano aspect, a micro aspect of the macro being the 12-month goal. 12-month goal, I want to be at $100,000 a month. Right now, my reality is $5,000 a month. That might be your reality. It might be somewhere in between. Okay? So your observation of yourself in earning or receiving $5,000 a month right now is vastly different to your point of observation when you're looking, feeling, and experiencing 100K a month. It's vastly different. It's hard to fathom because it doesn't feel tangible enough, because your emotional quotient or the emotional proof in your body as the subconscious mind hasn't built a strong enough framework around it yet to believe that it's natural for you to be at $100,000 a month of earnings. Okay? It's not natural for you right now. So it doesn't come as secondhand and freely and easily as you might think. So when we reduce things back to the nano, to the micro, you are giving yourself a greater opportunity to lean in on the future potential that you prefer right now. Right now. And so we go back to financial stability, because I hear that at a spoken level and an unspoken level in entrepreneurship and business owners. Always worried about money. Always, not necessarily always, but until you reach a flagship moment. But a great portion of entrepreneurs and business owners worrying about money, financial stability in their business, consistent, reliable income and revenue. Start now. Start now. Which means, going back on previous podcasts, what does it feel like to move from $5,000 to $10,000 a month? Just start with that. What does it feel like to move from $5,000 a month, where you have gaps and voids and an aspect of lack in the pursuit of your goals? Let's be real. There's an aspect of lack there. What does it feel like to double that? What does it feel like? Now, for most people, going from $5,000 to $10,000 a month is a game changer. It pays for a lot, if not all, and some of household expenses. Okay? So, what does it feel like? Now, who are you experiencing that? Who are you experiencing that new reality at 10,000? I ask you to explore it, because unless you dilate your imagination and you dilate the potential to experience that, you will not experience it. So you might say, well, that's impossible because I have no facts to support that. I have no evidence, because evidence is supported by your emotions. Evidence is supported in your behaviors. Evidence is supported in the way that you think. Evidence is supported in your outside world. So build evidence of what you want as a potential, realized, fulfilled, by feeling what that increase would feel like. And as you give attention to the nano, you give attention to the micro, you are building new neurological pathways, new physiological pathways, new energetic pathways through exploration, by exploring and expanding your imagination. Because the subconscious, as the body, as I've said many times through all the podcasts, is the prime commander, prime navigator, prime controller, prime magnetic substance. And unless you prime your body through your emotions, how you feel and how you want to feel, you will get the same results. Unless you do that. So if you are a very linear thinker and you are a deep feeler, but maybe you're an INTJ, as an example, in Myers-Briggs. So maybe you're not used to expressing yourself emotionally. Maybe you're not used to expressing yourself through the language of feeling. But the language of feeling is the language of your soul. The language of feeling is the language of the universe. The language of feeling is the language of the quantum field. The language of feeling is the language of manifesting. So unless you can train yourself in the nano to feel what a $5,000 to $10,000 jump is per month in your income, seldom will you experience it as a reality outside of you. It's a fact. It just is what it is. Because remember, what you feel is what you create. What you think is what you create. What you think and feel together is coherence. And when you can operate from a state of coherence, a unified field exists. And you tap into that unified field. The left hemisphere, the right hemisphere of the brain starts to synchronize. The thought energy and the feeling energy, one's electric, one's magnetic, become coherent. They unify. They become one. And when they become one, then you're practicing becoming one in the nano. Becoming one in the nano. One with your desired end. So now you're not waiting from point A to experience point B 12 months in the future. You're now using the power of your subconscious in this now moment to move point B into now, into this moment, into this nano. Simple? Yes. Doesn't feel easy though at times because you're challenged. You're thinking, well, I want to jump on that marketing campaign. I want to follow up with my clients. I want to email my database. I want to grow this. I want to get more engagement, whatever it may be. Everything starts on the inside. Everything. And I've had people push back over the years. Think, well, you just go on experiencing life the way that you want. Seemingly misunderstanding the power of the subconscious. Because they prefer to feel the reality, inverted commas, of physical things. If I can't see it, I can't believe in it. If I can't sit on it and have feedback that the chair is firm enough to hold my weight or support me, or that this is real, then it's intangible. What is imagination? Imagination is tangible for those who believe in the power of it. Nothing was ever created without first using the imagination. The light, the car, the buggy, the house, the roof, windows, glass. Nothing was ever created without first using imagination. So your 12-month goal is an imagination act, is an act of imagination. You bring that into now. Now I'm giving you some gems here. But you must commit to engaging point B as a feeling in the now. You must lean into it, regardless of what your past says, regardless of what your subconscious as your body says in a specific moment. Oh, that's not possible. I don't know how it's going to be achieved. Saying I don't know how is as good as not believing in yourself. I don't know how, therefore it cannot be. I do not know how, therefore I will not start. I do not know how, therefore I will stay with what I know. I do not know how, so I will continue to commit to the shiny object syndrome. I don't know how, so I'll commit to my old identity. The how is in the now. The how is in the now. Go back and listen to this episode. Bring your future goals, the 12-month goal as a macro, bring it into the nano, bring it into the micro, bring it into now. And with practice and persistent focus, day in, day out, leaning in and then stepping back and observing. Lean in, step back and observe. And when you step back, you're not judging, you're just observing. Go, ooh, that's very interesting. Look what I did there. See what I did there? You can have a joke with yourself, whatever it may be. Lean in, feel it, act upon it, and then lean out and observe it. Learn from it. Learn about your own power. Learn about your own power. Because if you fail to learn about your own power, you will continue to give your power to others in the hope and the belief that they will do the work for you, or the hope and belief that things will turn around in your favor. You can sit with that. How does that work out for you sometimes? Maybe sometimes it's okay. But for the most part, when you give away your power, you give away your choice. And when you give away your choice, you give away your ability to create. So I'll leave you with that. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. And from me here to wherever you are in the world, you know the deal. Dream a better dream. Choose to dream a better dream. Every day is new. Every moment is new. Remember, it's all you, baby. See you in the field.